I'm going to tell you guys the reality about life, about actually becoming successful. And this is really what it looks like. What it really looks like is this, okay? There's a series of hills, right? So we start off here, you're working, working, working. You see this as your first goal, right? You work up to this goal, and then you're like, yay, I made it. I did great. We did it. We're celebrating. And then all of a sudden, we start to see this other goal up here, and we're like, whoa, that's a huge hill. That's a huge, thing we need to like kind of figure out and try to accomplish. And then you kind of dip down because you're like, dang, like I thought it was so great. I thought this was amazing. And then you might be a little sad. And then you start working a ton. You start seeing results, You're like, wow, I made it again. And you see another hill. And then there's this endless continuum of these hills and these ups and downs, right? But you notice how the trend is you continue to go up. But if I ask someone, if imagine I draw a line here and we cover up this entire side. If I ask someone here, right, they have no idea of if they're gonna make it or not. They have no idea if they're going up. They have no idea of anything. And that's how you're gonna be in the moment. You're gonna have zero idea if you're actually going up in the correct direction. And you're gonna have to just rely on faith alone to decide that you're gonna continue working and continue improving yourself and just keep trying and that eventually you're gonna make it. But you have no idea about the future. So you're just kind of guessing and working. Even here, you don't know. Am I going to go down a bunch right now? It's just like how like the stock market, right? The stock market can go up and down. In this case, is you can't predict that either. All you have to do is just commit towards working for yourself all the time and trying to improve yourself as much as possible. And that's really what the result will be like. Now I'm going to go a level further and show you guys that what this really looks like is actually this. So the hills up here, unfortunately, are not very smooth, right? They really are these jagged edges where you imagine each little jagged edge is like a day, right? And it's going up and down, everything, right? So it's like you're going to be up some days, you're going to go down a lot some days. And it's like as long as you just keep trying and try to keep growing, you look at here, like I went down further than I was at the beginning, right? That's what happens. When you fail, you may feel like I'm so far behind. I'm such a failure, all this stuff, right? But then as you go up, there'll be times when you just burst up all of a sudden. You realize, oh my gosh, I made this amazing thing. And then like you start to fail again and it goes back up. But you notice how the trend is still in the upwards direction, right? So that's how you need to be. You need to continue working. That's just the reality. It's going to suck. There's going to be days you're like, what on earth? What on earth am I doing with my life, right? You're going to like completely question why you even started this journey. You're going to go down, it's going to go up. You're going to be like, what's going on, right? Why can't I just have a bunch of amazing days back to back to back? Like that would be amazing. Everybody would want that, right? But that's just not the process. And so it's like you have to stop being emotional about each and every day of like, oh, I'm happy today, or I feel like working today, or I did well today, or like versus like I failed today, it sucks, I hate this. You need to stop being so emotional either way and just realize that the only thing that matters is did you put in the work today? Because if you did, in the long run, if you keep doing this, you will succeed, and it is a guarantee. But if you don't put in the work, that will guarantee that you won't succeed and that you'll probably fail and all this stuff. So you have to really detach a lot of emotions from the work because a lot of times people are just so unhappy or they're too happy and they don't want to work, etc. It's just like it doesn't matter. There's only one thing that matters. Put in the work. Did you put in the work today? Really ask yourself that. Because if you are serious about your goals, that's the only way you're going to make it.